Hey everyone, welcome back to AITAH, the channel where we dive deep into the real, raw, and sometimes unbelievable stories from Reddit's community. If you've ever had a complicated family dynamic or felt torn between duty and justice, today's story is really going to hit home. This isn't just about a will or a funeral. This is about generational favoritism, emotional betrayal, and what we really owe to people who never showed up for us. Let's get into it. So, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my father's funeral after he left me nothing in his will? I'm 34F, my dad died 2 months ago. His funeral was last week, and I still haven't contributed a single cent to it. And honestly, I don't plan to. But before you think I'm heartless, let me give you the full story. Because this wasn't a sudden decision. It's the result of a lifetime of being treated like a backup daughter. Growing up, I was the responsible one, the quiet one, the helper. My older brother, Nate 37, was, well, let's just say he was the golden child. No matter what he did, whether he crashed a car, got arrested for shoplifting, dropped out of college, my dad always made excuses for him. He's just figuring things out. Boys will be boys. He's got a good heart. Meanwhile, I was the one who made dinner when my mom had to work late. I was the one who cleaned up after Nate's messes. I was the one who stayed close to home for college so I could help care for my dad when he had back surgery. Even as adults, the pattern continued. Nate disappeared for years at a time, only to show up when he needed money or a place to crash. I, on the other hand, lived 20 minutes from our parents and would come over every weekend to help. Yard work, groceries, meds, whatever they needed. I remember one Thanksgiving, Nate didn't show. No call, no text. I made dinner for our dad, sat across the table from him while he scrolled through his phone all night. When I asked if he missed Nate, he said, "Your brother's busy. You wouldn't understand." I was literally the one sitting there with a homemade pie in front of him, but I wouldn't understand. Fast forward to a year ago, Dad's health started going downhill. I helped with his appointments, managed his prescriptions, picked up groceries, cleaned his house, and dealt with the mail. I was basically his part-time nurse. Nate visited twice, once to ask for money, and once to drop off some old junk from his storage unit. Then Dad passed, and that's when everything blew up. We met with the estate lawyer. I wasn't expecting much, but I figured maybe he'd leave something small, even just a thank you letter. A book, a family photo, something that said, "Hey, I saw everything you did." Instead, the will read, "I leave everything I own to my beloved son, Nathaniel." That was it. No mention of me. No, not even a sentence, like I didn't exist. Nate got the house, the car, the savings account, and my grandmother's heirloom ring, the one my mom had told me since I was 12 would be mine someday. Now all's Nate. I sat there in silence. My hands were shaking. The lawyer gave me a look of sympathy, but said there was nothing he could do. It was all legally airtight. I walked out. I didn't say a word to Nate. I haven't spoken to him since. Now, here's where things get tricky. A few weeks ago, Nate called me, not to apologize, not to acknowledge anything. No, he called to ask if I was going to help pay for the funeral. It's what Dad would have wanted, he said. I asked, did he put that in the will? Nate got quiet, then said, "Well, no. But come on, it's his funeral. You're still his daughter." I said, "According to that will, I'm not." He started shouting. Sighed I was being petty, that I was trying to punish him and Dad by withholding money. I told him, I'm not punishing anyone. I'm just not going to pay to bury someone who acted like I didn't exist. Now my phone is blowing up. Our aunt called me selfish. One of Nate's friends DM'd me saying I'm disgracing the family name. Even my mom, who divorced my dad years ago, said she understands how I feel. but that funerals aren't about the dead. They're about closure for the living, but I don't feel closure. I feel erased. So, AITAH for refusing to pay for my dad's funeral after he left me out of the will? Wow. Okay, let's unpack this. First off, you're not heartless. Let's be real. Funerals are expensive. They're also deeply emotional. And when someone has made it clear in writing that you meant nothing to them, you're under no obligation to pretend otherwise for appearances. Now, people will say, funerals aren't about the dead, they're for the living. Sure, but let's look at who's doing the living. If the person asking you for help is the same one who inherited everything while you got nothing, that's not about closure. That's about convenience. This isn't about being petty. It's about setting boundaries. You gave your time, your labor, your care. And when it came time for acknowledgement, you were written out like you didn't exist. That hurts deeply. And let's talk about the guilt being thrown at you. It's what he would have wanted. You're still his daughter. You're disgracing the family. No, you are honoring your own worth. And if your brother is so determined to fulfill your father's wishes, let him pay for them. This story also hits on a bigger theme: family favoritism and what it does to people long term. When a parent constantly puts one child on a pedestal and treats the other like an afterthought, it creates deep emotional wounds. You start internalizing the idea that your effort doesn't matter, that love is conditional, that being good isn't enough. But here's the truth: you mattered, even if your dad couldn't say it. Even if your name wasn't in the will, you showed up, you were there, and that counts for something. Honestly, I hope you take that money you would have spent on the funeral and do something kind for yourself. Therapy, a weekend away, a piece of jewelry that you pick for you, because you deserve it. So no, not the asshole. Not even close. And to anyone listening who's been through something similar, you're not alone. Family dynamics can be messy, painful, and unfair, but you are not obligated to keep paying emotional debts to people who never repaid yours. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. If this story moved you or reminded you of something personal, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Oppie was right to say no? Or would you have handled the funeral differently? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss any more stories like this one. Your support helps these stories reach more people who might really need to hear them. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.